This weekend, cyclists from around the area will ride together in the name of cancer research.
In its first 4 years, the UW Health-sponsored ride has raised more than $1 million. And joining us now to talk a little about it is Dr. Natalie Callender and longtime cancer survivor Paul Westrick. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah. Paul, I would love to start with you. Can you kind of talk us through a little summary of what you've been through, your diagnosis, and where we are now?
Sure. I have a blood cancer called multiple myeloma. I was diagnosed in 1997, out of the blue, healthy 45-year-old guy.
It was just a test for your life insurance,
it was,
right?
Yeah.
And you had no symptoms.
It turned up an abnormal amount of protein in my blood, and went through a workup for it. And my doctor at the time said it could be a number of things. There's one thing we don't want it to be, and it turned out that one thing is multiple myeloma, what I have. Things have changed a lot since then, and that's part of what is being supported by the ride. Research breakthroughs. There are more treatments available today. It's so hard to keep track of them. But at the time, the approach was watch and wait. I didn't have any symptoms. I didn't have problems. And about the only treatment available was a bone marrow transplant or a stem cell transplant. So the choice was to hold off as long as possible. Unfortunately, I went 6 years and eventually had the stem cell transplant in 2003. And since then, more and more new drugs have come about to treat this. So I've been through several regimens since 2003, but now I'm free of treatment, at least for now, and enjoying an active life.
22 years. It's so reassuring to look at you. You're the picture of health, and for people watching, that's so reassuring to see.
It is. When you go online, at the time, the average survival was 3 years.
Wow.
And that now, Dr. Callender can speak to that, is probably pushing 5 to 7. I'm probably, today, more the typical patient in terms of the responses that I'm getting, but I'm probably the longest living survivor from diagnosis in the state at this point.
Wow. And Dr. Callender, clinical trials are a big part of
right. And there's several things I'd like to touch upon with what Paul has said. And only about 3% of patients with cancer in the U.S. are ever part of a clinical trial, which is unfortunate because that's how we make some of our biggest breakthroughs, is having patients participate, be willing to volunteer. And when they do that, they not only help themselves, but they actually help everyone else with myeloma or any other disease as that is. So Paul was actually part of 2 very pivotal clinical trials, one early after his diagnosis and then one a few years ago. They both led to FDA approvals of drugs. They both ended up showing survival benefits, and you know, he's really here to show us that. And the ride is actually to help us really fill in the gap for research, for cancer research. So many people think the federal government helps us, but we are woefully unfunded in this country for cancer research, underfunded. And one of the great things about the ride is we're raising money here for our researchers at UW. We have over 250 great researchers of all kinds, every type of cancer you can think of, scientists, social workers, psychologists. They all end up working together to help us come up with new ways to treat cancer.
Paul, tell us a little bit about the ride.
So this kind of combines 2 of my passions, bicycling and raising money for cancer research. So the ride is actually 5 rides. It's this Sunday. It's staged out at the American Family headquarters out in Sun Prairie. There are rides for everyone. So I was teasing,
5 distances.
5 distances.
Okay.
I was teasing Dr. Callender. We're going to get her out there.
I'm going to do more than a 3.
There's a 3-mile ride for families and beginners and that sort of thing. A 17, a 34. A 62 and 102 or something like that. So
wonderful.
For all people of all abilities, they kind of time them so that people finish about the same time.
Great.
And then early afternoon is a big celebration, and it's a really fun event.
Awesome. And we just saw the website up there. So if you're interested in more information, be sure to check it out. Thank you both so much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Continued good health.
Thanks
Great
so
to
much.
see you.
Thank you.